Hello, Wildcats. This is Mr. Osmussen, and this is my first infomercial. And I'd like to thank the video production class for taking over the morning announcements, offering me the opportunity to share some infomercial type of stuff. Today, I'd like to talk about grades, the importance of grades, and how to calculate your grade point average. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as I often do. This allows me to share with you some thoughts down on paper. So here we go, how to calculate your grade point average. So I did a quick Google search, boys and girls, I love Google search too, and I just typed it in, and what I found was your grade point average is calculated by dividing the total amount of grade points earned by the total amount of credits attempted. That's a big one. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. Your grade point average may range from 0.0, which, by the way, if you see this sliding scale, if you don't have a grade point, if you have a 0.0 grade point average, that means that you are failing all of your classes. And it can range all the way up to a 4.0. So let's talk about that real quickly. If you are a straight A student, and we've used that phrase before as within our society, hey, that person's a straight A kid, right? That means that they are a 4.0 grade point average. They've gotten all A's, and their grade point average would be a 4.0. What's important in how grades matter, especially in middle and high school, is that to compete in sports or in robotics or in the fine arts department and to be adjudicated in band, strings, or choir, you have to have a 2.0 grade point average or a C average to be allowed to compete in any type of competition. That's a Scottsdale Unified School District requirement. At high school, we talk about a cumulative grade point average, and I'm going to talk more about that. But what happens is at the end of your high school year, in your senior year, we rank you against everybody else in your class. So at Saguaro High School, there are 400 seniors, and we know the person with the highest grade point average and is number one in their class, and we know who's number two, number three, number four, number five. And of course, there can be ties, but the higher your grade point average, you often will benefit. So you might get, here at Mojave Middle School, you're going to be on the honor roll, the principal's list. You get recognized for having a higher grade point average. In high school, you might, with a very high grade point average, get money or a scholarship to go off to college and university. So let's take a look at this. So your grade point average is calculated by dividing the total amount of grade points you've earned by the total of credit hours attempted. So say what? Yeah, let's talk about that. A's are worth 4 points, B's are worth 3, C's are worth 2 points, a D is worth 1, and if you got an F, if you failed a class, that means you did not earn any points. Remember, boys and girls, your job, you are a student and you get paid in grades, and your grades are worth a certain amount of points. So like I come to work and I get paid in a salary, you get paid in points or in grades. So let's take a look at this. Let's say that you have math, science, social studies, language arts, 2 elective classes. And let's say that your grades are a B, a B, a B, a C, and an A. Now let's first talk about the number of credit hours. So math is worth 1 credit. Science is worth 1 credit. Social studies is worth 1 credit. Language arts worth 1 credit. You see where all of those parentheses are there. So you're taking 6 credits hours, right? So that's where we're going to do the division. So we say that you got a B in math, you earn 3 points. You got a B in science, you got 3 points. You got a B in social studies, you got 3 points. Well, if we add up all of those points that you earned, there's 19 points divided by the 6 credit hours. Using your handy dandy calculator, 20 divided by 6 is 3.16, which puts you in that B zone, right? Now, In morning announcements, we're talking about the fact that your grades can fluctuate a lot in the final week of the quarter. So let's just say that those grades, you didn't do maybe a homework assignment, you didn't study for that language arts novel quiz or test. Let's say you didn't turn in your science notebook, and all of a sudden your grades fell just a little bit. Notice what happens if in science my B goes to a C, and in language arts my A goes to a B. Well, all of a sudden I only have 17 points divided by the same number of credits of 6, and all of a sudden I'm at a 2.83 and I have slipped a little bit. Well, we could think about this the other way. What if these were my current grades and I did my homework and I got my work done and I went from 17 points to 19 and I slid over into the B category, or the 3.16. So boys and girls, the last week is super important of the quarter. Make sure that you finish strong. Let's have one more conversation here, keeping the scrolling down. I'm asking you the question, what is your grade point average going to be this quarter, right? Now, this is a big deal, you know, if we were sitting here thinking about students that were right here on the C zone and then all of a sudden slipped down here because they didn't turn into an assignment. Well, think about if you were participating on the football team and all of a sudden you didn't do your homework and your grade point fell underneath this 2.0 category and you fell into the 1 point something or the D point something category. You cannot play football now. Ladies cannot cheer or play softball. Or if you are in the choir, you might not be able to participate in the adjudication or go off to robotics competitions. So if you are right here kind of on the edge of an area, that could make a very big thing, right? At the end of this first quarter, I want you to calculate your grade point average and then compare second quarter to first, third quarter to first and second, and fourth quarter to first, second, and third. And what I hope will happen is that your grade point average will continue to slide and go uppity up, 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 right? Now, at the beginning of quarter two, some people like to say, I started with an A, and I like to say, no, you haven't earned any points, and currently you are at a 0. But as the quarter goes on and you turn in your homework and you study for tests and quizzes, I expect to see this arrow, this place of your grade point average to move and move and move. Now, also, let's keep things in perspective, boys and girls. Grade point average is one way to define and measure success. It's not the only way. Let's talk about the fact that sometimes success is measured in perseverance, determination, and grit. Right now, we are in a COVID. We are in the middle of a pandemic and you are learning remotely and online. It is hard. I know that you can do hard things, but it is hard. And maybe just the fact that you have not given up, that you keep trying, even if your grades are low, that is a measure of success. Maybe the fact that you are learning how to organize yourself, that you've turned in all of your work and you've turned it in on time. Even though your grades might be low, that is something to celebrate because you have developed the habits of work. You have developed the habits of study. And if by chance you are struggling, yet you are brave enough to talk to your teachers and you are asking for help when you need it, I measure that as success. Boys and girls, I often say that successful people ask for help. And what I have found in my 20 years of education is that those students that are over here, those are students that raise their hand and ask for help. Those are students that stay after class and talk to the teacher. Those are students that talk to mom and dad about their schoolwork and they do what needs to be done to be successful. So even if by chance your grade point average is hovering somewhere over here, remember, these are ways to measure help. And if you are asking for help when you need it, if you are turning in the work when you're supposed to turn in the work, and if you have grit and you stick to it, to me, you are successful. That's my infomercial. I look forward to the next time I see you at my next one. Until then, as always, stay mighty Mojave.